Well, hello, everyone. Hello, this is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. Breaking news. We currently have my friend Vince Sabine down in Texas now as we speak. He went down there yesterday to give supplies to the victims' families. Now he is currently on the campsite. We have Vince right now. My producer is going to bring him up, and Vince is going to talk about what he's been doing down in Texas. Hi, Vince. How are you? Can you hear me?
Good. How are you doing, Alexandra?
Awesome. Great. So
doing?
Vince, you are live down in Texas. Tell us what you've been doing down there.
Well, I arrived here yesterday with a load of disaster relief supplies that were all donated. Had them delivered, and then this morning I was up and working with the search and rescue all day.
So Vince, tell us what the scene is down there. Have you spoken to any of the victims' families?
No, I haven't spoken to any of the families, but you get down along the riverbed and down where the flood came through, and it's a mess. There's debris piles everywhere, and they're going over and just going through and trying to find anybody we can.
So Vince, what propelled you to do this? It's such a great deed what you're doing. Have you done this before in the past? Did this touch your heart when you heard all the hundreds of children that were unfortunately drowned by this horrendous flood? What brought you to doing this?
I've been doing it for quite a while. Once you go through one disaster, it kind of makes you want to do others to help as many people as you can. I'm working with a group down here right now, Savage Freedom Operation, and they're doing search and rescue. And we've been working with other groups, Hands Above, to help get supplies over here. And you have to help. You have to help. I believe I said it to you before. This country wasn't built on a government. It was built on neighbors helping neighbors. You had a barn that had to be built. Your neighbors came and helped. Something happened. Everybody was there for each other, and we have to get back to that. And God, I think, just guides me and brings me to where I need to be and puts me in the position I need to be in. And so I make the phone calls I've got to make and put everything together the best I can.
So how many people have been helping you with this journey?
Well, my group is called Buck Up Relief Mission. And there is 6 of us there, and plus the groups that we network with. There's hundreds of people that we work with. We just, we connect. Excuse me, it's been a long day. We can connect with each other and get everybody where they need to be when they need to be. Search and rescue, disaster relief supplies, places to drop it off. I mean, there's a lot of people involved. The company I've been working for, TSA Logistics, they donated the truck and the fuel and the trailer to haul this load. It's just people helping people, and everybody donating what they can to Buck Up Relief Mission helps us move whatever we got to move, supply the search and rescue teams. Some of them need communication devices. They need food. They need everything. I mean, I'm cooking dinner right now for this team. I have somebody else watching the stove, but everybody needs a hand in making this all work. We got to all do it together. So there's hundreds of people involved. We also work with the Remnant Group, which is another search and rescue team. Anything anybody can do to help out there, $5, $1, $10, whatever. Buck Up Relief on Give Send Go. You can go to buckupreliefmission.net, and there's a link to donate. We need your help. We still have truckloads that we need to move to get in here. The search and rescue crews, they need help with where they stay and their equipment, and it's just a huge undertaking.
Now, Vince, have you seen anyone down there via leadership helping you? Like any representatives down there helping you?
Not today. It's been, like I said, I was in the field all day, and last night I dealt with Crossroads Church as a drop location. We pulled in there. I opened up those doors, and these people just cheered. There was probably about 30 or 40 people there doing that. I got a guy. Hey, Travis. This is a gentleman with Search and Rescue. His name's Travis, and he's with Savage.
Oh, wow.
He can probably answer some questions.
Oh, hi. How are you? Hi. Thank you so much for what you do. You're live.
How can I help?
On Alexandra Levine Live. How are you? It's conservative media. Good. Nice to have you on. Tell me exactly what you've been doing down there with Vince.
Okay. We've been on the ground since Thursday. Enforcement, fire departments, things of that nature. We've been through Kerr and Kendall County, just trying to assist with the task forces that are down here.
That's amazing. Have you spoken to any leadership? Anyone in leadership positions have been down there with you?
Yes, ma'am. As far as like state leadership, or
yes, state leadership, state and local leadership.
So I haven't been with any state leadership, but I left EOC this morning. We work pretty closely with county resources, county EOC, county fire, as far as local fire. The Texas Rangers are here. I mean, it's a pretty impressive get together.
Have you spoken to any of the victims' families?
No, ma'am. We've been on the ground strictly doing recovery work.
That's great.
As best we can.
And what kind of supplies? Go ahead. And what kind of supplies have you been sending? Yeah, what kind of supplies, Vince, have you been sending, and what kind of supplies have you been giving to the people that are in need?
So, all we're doing search and rescue.
Okay,
that's a him question.
Right.
That's a me.
Yeah, Vince. What kind of
question?
Yeah. Thank you, Travis, so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for what you do.
Yeah, I brought down yesterday everything from wipes to medical supplies, dehydration mixes for the search and rescue, chainsaws, generators, hard hats, gloves, health and beauty supplies, anything anybody would need. If you lost everything, we try to bring whatever you're going to need to keep you going until you can get back on your feet.
That's amazing. And Vince, where can people donate? Where can people contribute?
They can contribute to buckuprelief.net and buckuprelief, Give Send Go /buckuprelief. Anything you can do to help is a big help. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, it really is. We've got to pay for fuel for other trucks coming in. We have another truck that we're trying to move out of New York next weekend. These guys here, their communication devices are bad. We need to get them new ones so they can communicate with each other in the field. We've already done that for other groups. We're also trying to assist in housing for these guys. Whatever anybody needs, we try to help. So if you can donate $5, $10 to Buck Up Relief Mission on Give Send Go, you can get the link through buckupreliefmission.net. Anything you can do to help would be fantastic. And we're looking at a hurricane storm coming across Florida now, and other floods. There was one in New Jersey. So we got a lot to do. Our hands are full, and we need all the help we can get.
Well, let me ask you an interesting question. So, and we just have a minute left, about, all of a sudden these floods are happening out of nowhere. What happened in Texas, and there's floods even in the Washington, D.C. area and so forth. And they're talking about something called cloud seeding. Do you think that cloud seeding has something to do with these, torrential floods that are going on? What say you about that?
Well, there's a lot of controversy about that. With the Rainmaker company seeding clouds.
Mm-hmm.
How much of an effect, I'm not sure that's having. It's, Mother Nature's a crazy thing, and when you mess with it, you never know what's going to happen. So if they are messing with it, then they got to stop, because it's getting bad. It seems like we're getting flood warnings every day.
I agree.
This morning we started our day with a flood warning. So I don't know how any of that works. I respond to whatever they do.
And Vince, where are you from? Where did your journey start? Where you drove all the way to Texas? Where did you drive from?
I came from North Carolina.
How far? How long was that drive?
The amazing people in North Carolina. It took me 2 days, 2.5 days. The people in North Carolina, they have a lot of supplies that they had still had from Helene, and they offered it up to Texas, and so we moved it. I picked up in a couple different locations when I was in North Carolina to fill the community of West Jefferson, Valley Hope Foundation over there in Black Mountain. Just great people. They wanted to pay it forward. Everybody came to help them, and they wanted to do the same for Texas.
Well, thank you so much, Vince. I really appreciate what you're doing. So everybody go to buckupreliefmission.net. Go to the Give, Send, Go. They can donate. Buckuprelief.net. Is that correct, Vince? And then also, anybody, please. I'm sorry, Buck Up Relief. Buckuprelief.net. Also, how can people get in touch with you, Vince, personally to help?
They can contact me through the buckuprelief.net website. Also, if you really have something big that you really need help, my phone number is 727-810-0141. You can call
that's
me directly.
727-810-0141.
Yes.
Awesome.
I'm getting
that is awesome. Again, I'm sorry. Oh, you're going to be okay. I'm going to let you go. But thank you again so much, Vince. We'll have you come on the show again. Give us a report anytime you go down to help with floods, hurricanes, so forth, even snowstorms. We will contact you. Thank you so much. You have been great.
All right, Alexandra. Thank you for having me on. You have a good day.
Of course. No, I'm glad we could catch you live in Texas.
There you go.
Thanks so much. Awesome. So, guys, Vince Sabine, he's an awesome guy. And again, go to buckuprelief.net. That's buckupreliefmission.net. You can contact Vince personally on his cell phone, 727-810-0141. He is literally doing God's work. He literally got a truck, went from North Carolina all the way to Texas. It took him 2 days, and he's been doing so much great work down there, working with the search and rescue, as we saw with Travis down there in Texas, and we thank him for his kind work as well. That's what we do, guys. We are all Americans. We all work together. This is a come together moment. There was hundreds of lives that were lost based on this flood. And it's true. I mean, the weather system is very interesting. We have the Nordic weather track. There are, reports that people do mess with the weather. I talked about the Rainmaker CEO last week, how he said that he did cloud seeding 2 days before this happened. He says he didn't cause it, but then people are saying cloud seed could have caused it. Some say they couldn't have caused it. But again, Rainmaker is messing with Mother Nature. Why is this good? He thinks he's doing God's work, but yet he's messing with God's work. So, what's going on? I agree with Vince. There's a flood warning all the time. I'm in Maryland, Virginia, always a flood warning every other hour, every other day. It was interesting. I was driving to Baltimore County for a meeting last night, and I thought I was going to a massive storm. And I looked up at Hashem and I said, please, God, please, Hashem, please open the skies for me. Please break the clouds open so I don't have to drive through this horrendous torrential rain. And God listened. And I totally believe in the power of prayer there. And if you are one of those people that are, dealing with floods or dealing with, heavy rainstorms, or you're dealing with, the loss of life, prayer is so important right now. Prayer is so important. I encourage everybody to, if you can, reach out to the victims' families, send them a message if you know them, and make them know and let them know that you care about them and help them as much as you can. We all have to do God's work here. It's very, very, very important. Now going into segment 1, other breaking news. First slide. So we have Nick Sorter. He said, alert. The U.S. Senate has until Friday to pass the DOGE recessions package sent over by the White House. This will pull $8.3 billion from USAID and another $1.1 billion from NPR and PBS. Get it done at Leader John Thune. And remember, President Trump talked about this. This is something that he has mentioned. Again, it's all about codifying the DOGE, or codifying DOGE, excuse me. And if this isn't passed, it's going to be a real problem. As you know, NPR and PBS are huge fake news outlets. As you know, we are not fake news. We are not the mainstream media. We are the new conservative media at the White House. We will report fairly and honestly. And as you saw, we reported real people in real time doing God's work down in Texas. But it's very important that this gets codified, that this DOGE recessions package goes through, and USAID, they don't have all this money to pay for transgender surgeries here and transgender education and condoms in Gaza. I mean, it was like crazy stuff that Elon Musk found, and also Secretary of State Marco Rubio discovered also. It was crazy. And then you have a second breaking news. Second slide. Okay, I'll just say it. Nick Sorter, breaking news. This has to do with the Autopen. As you know, President Trump, he has been very adamant about getting to the bottom of the Autopen. There it is. Thank you. Dr. Fauci is, quote, pardon confirmed to have been done by the Autopen and received late night approval from a White House aide per the New York Times. Illegitimate pardon, nullify it, and lock Fauci up. As you know, hours before President Trump took the Oval Office, he was sworn into the Oval Office right before the inauguration. Joe Biden supposedly did all these pardons, but we're finding out is that Joe Biden actually didn't do those pardons. They said the only pardon he really did was his family's or his son Hunter's. But Dr. Fauci's pardon, Adam Schiff, the January 6th, the Unselect Committee, those pardons are fake. It was through something called the Autopen. We have confirmation on that. This is something that President Trump is trying to get to the bottom of. He is going to get to the bottom of. And again, the more we find out that the Autopen was used for these illegitimate pardons, these people, they're going to go to jail. Dr. Fauci needs to go to jail for the crimes that he's committed. It's crimes against humanity. I mean, he killed my grandfather. He killed many other people during COVID and even after the rise of COVID. But it's very, very important that we get to the bottom of this. And then we also have another confirmation, the third slide. It's been revealed that Joe Biden's, quote, January 6th Select Committee, President Trump calls it the Unselect Committee, and I agree with him on that, pardons were signed by the Autopen at the direction of an assistant, making them null and void just like Fauci. Prosecute and put them all through what they put innocent people through over a lie. No one is above the law. Well, my question to my audience is, who is this assistant? A lot of people say that it was Jill Biden's chief of staff. I wholeheartedly believe it. I think that Jill Biden had a lot to do with this and a lot to do behind the scenes. As we know, her husband was incompetent. He suffered from dementia. He has dementia now. Now he has, a severe stage 4 cancer. And all of a sudden, we're just supposed to poo-poo it. There's beliefs by many doctors and even myself that they knew about his decline. The mainstream media knew about his cancer, knew about his mental decline, and they covered it up. And President Trump has said that the 2020 election was stolen. I honestly believe that it was stolen and rigged. I saw it in real time. I worked it. My brother-in-law worked it. A lot of people that I know worked the 2020 election. It was let's just say there was a lot of voter fraud there, a lot of fraudulent things that happened in that election. And even the powers to be know it too. So it's really important, guys. It's really important that we get to the bottom of this. It's really important that there is prosecutions done. It's really important that we keep an eye on this. And this is, again, something that President Trump is very, very adamant about getting to the bottom of this. He wants to reverse everything that Joe Biden did from 2020 all the way to 2024. Because if the Autopen was used, if he wasn't, quote, really sworn in, if he wasn't really a legitimate president, those people involved, they should be going to jail. And then we have the last slide, beginning of segment 1. So this kind of, I'm changing the subject a little bit. Of course, everybody is obsessed with the Epstein files. People, especially MAGA people, they want the release of the Epstein files. There was actually a vote today in the House to release the Epstein files, and 200 Republicans voted no. And people are wondering why. Are they afraid their names are on the list? Why don't they want this released? You know, President Trump gets very mad at the mainstream media that keeps pushing this. Pam Bondi's had to explain herself many times about the interview that she did in February of this year. There was, you know, reports, what they call banter, so to speak, or I call it gossip, stating that Pam Bondi got into a huge fight with Dan Bongino, and that Dan Bongino, he threatened to resign. Kash Patel said, I'll resign if Dan Bongino resigns. None of that has been confirmed, by the way. President Trump said on the tarmac the other day that he talked to Dan Bongino. Everything's fine. You know, Dan Bongino wanted to take a couple days off for himself. Didn't mention resigning, didn't mention leaving. They know they have a job to do. I don't believe that Dan Bongino is going to leave. I do not believe that Kash Patel is going to leave. And President Trump praises Pam Bondi. She's actually done a lot of great work. People don't really look at the great work that she's done. They're just focusing on the Epstein files. And I can understand why people are upset. But I do believe that some things were shredded before Pam Bondi and Kash Patel came in. There's been a lot of blockades. But I also believe that President Trump has the list. He knows the people that are on it, and he's using it as his trump card, that he will pull it out when need be. Now, that is just my personal opinion. I do not have real proof of that or real evidence of that. But I think that's why he doesn't want to hear about the Epstein files anymore, because I think there's something much bigger that's going on behind the scenes that we don't know. Remember, President Trump is not going to tell you what he's thinking and feeling. And he's definitely not going to tell the mainstream media what he's thinking and feeling. But the report that Benny Johnson said was that Ghislaine Maxwell is reportedly prepared to speak before Congress and tell her story surrounding Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. Do you believe that? Do you believe that Ghislaine is going to talk? Remember, I said on the Pulse last week, the only person that can really talk is Ghislaine. Now, I don't think she will. She was Mossad. Her father was Mossad. Mossad is the Israeli FBI and CIA. But I can tell you the Mossad does not kill their own. Unless that person does something against the state of Israel or against the Jewish people or against their mission. Whether the Mossad took out Jeffrey Epstein or not, we won't know. Remember, reports from Dan Bongino and Kash Patel said that he did commit suicide. Maybe he committed suicide because he thought the Mossad and the U.S. intelligence were going to come after him. Now, U.S. intelligence, as you know, FBI, DOJ, DNI, ODNI, CIA, they all protect each other. There are some reports that people think that Epstein's still alive. That he's not even dead. That whatever corpse they produced wasn't his. Somebody told me if you look at the pictures of when he was in the cell and then the autopsy pictures, his nose looks different. What do you guys think? What do you believe? Question to my audience, question to my viewers. Do you think Epstein's really dead? Do you think he really killed himself or not? Do you think the Mossad or the U.S. intelligence agencies took him out? There is proof, though, that he did work for the Mossad. And there is proof that he did work for U.S. intelligence agencies. So all that's true. And I don't want people crapping on Israel because of that, or crapping on the Mossad. Because every time you mention Mossad or anything that deals with Israel, the anti-Semitism just pours out. That's craziness. That is craziness. But I'm telling you, there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we don't know. But I would implore everybody to not listen to the influencers, not listen to this sidebar over here, this mouthpiece over there. Remember, a lot of these people, yes, they have millions of followers. Some may have more of the inside track. But these are people that are going against the president. These are people that are dissing President Trump. These are people that claim that they were MAGA, and now their true colors are coming out. And a lot of them are starting the infighting. It's not good that the Republican Party has so much infighting. It gives our enemies more power. And somebody said if President Trump doesn't release the Epstein files, he can forget the midterms. Well, Speaker Mike Johnson has spent a lot of money to protect the Republican Party and make sure that we thrive through the midterms. So again, unless you hear it from President Trump's mouth, Pam Bondi's, Dan Bongino's mouth, Kash Patel's mouth, stop making speculation, stop jumping the gun. As I said, trust the man, trust the plan. It's not a QAnon, Q conspiracy. I don't read into that crap. I'm not into those type of people. But I wholeheartedly support and believe in Donald Trump and his plan. And as I said, I wouldn't be surprised if he has that list and he's holding on to it. But I can't confirm that. That is just my speculation, assumption, my opinion. But again, my question to my audience is, do you think President Trump has the list and he's holding on to it? Or do you think he just really doesn't want to hear about it anymore? Or do you think it's just shredded and that's it, case closed, be done? Do you think that the argument between Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi is real? Or do you think that it's false? That is my question to my audience. Well, coming up after the break, we have a brand new guest. He's also a new sponsor for this show, for my show. His name is John Richardson Jr. He is the founder of Richardson Nutritional Center, and he will be with us right after the break. Hi, I'm Alexandra Levine. I'm a professional opera singer, actress, TV, and radio personality. Since 2015, I've been a volunteer, a field director, and a campaign manager, learning the ins and outs of the political world. That's why I became a political consultant. My job is to lead you to victory with organization, structure, and the mindset of winning for your district or state. With my guidance and direction, I can keep you focused on the things that matter to the people and advise you on key issues that need to be addressed. If you're a serious candidate that is serious about winning, then book a consultation with me today. Go to levineconsulting.co. You'll be happy you did. Well, hello, everyone. Hello. This is Alexandra Levine live with the America's Pulse Network. We have a brand new guest with me tonight. He's also one of our sponsors for this show. His name is John Richardson Jr. He is the founder of Richardson Nutritional Center. There he is. And see that code right there, www.rnc.com. That's his code right there. And then I will be bringing my code later on in the show. Well, thanks so much for joining me, John. I appreciate it.
Alexandra, it's been a pleasure listening to your show. I can tell we're like-minded. I've never met you before, but I've been fighting this battle for truth my entire life. And it's an absolute thrill and a pleasure to get on with your audience and tell them something they won't believe when I say it. But here we are. We're breaking through things that we never thought we could break through before. And one of those is that we've had the answer to cancer for 60 years, and it's been kept hidden, kept secret. And this is one of those subjects, Alexandra, that you really don't get out there and tell the media that. I'm censored pretty much everywhere I can be censored because it's such a a large industry fighting against us. But I'm the chairman of the board, or the chairman, the chief visionary officer of Operation World Without Cancer. And it really is an opportunity over the next 2 years with this new administration, including RFK Jr. and his total, his group of people. People aren't hearing a lot about the MAHA side of this movement right now, but I think we're making tremendous strides. We're cleaning up the food, we're cleaning up all these things. But my message is that you and anybody you know does not have to die of cancer. Cancer is a metabolic deficiency disease, and we've had the proof. We know it. Most of the books behind me, if anybody was to take a screenshot and view them, most of the books behind me are about this subject. And I've uncovered a vault of about 60 years of documents, case histories, speeches, books, all sorts of information about the truth that cancer is a metabolic deficiency disease, primarily of a vitamin known as amygdalin. And I hate to use the word amygdalin, but it's called vitamin B17, but not according to the FDA. It has never been approved. They've never approved an additional B vitamin past B12, which is cyanocobalamin, and B17 or amygdalin is the subject matter of what we're talking about, which was written in a book by G. Edward Griffin. I just spent the weekend with him in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he is 93 and still going strong. He spoke on stage, and we had a bunch of people there, including people that you probably know. Ed wrote this book in 1974. It has its 50th year anniversary in 2024, and that's why we formed Operation World Without Cancer, because we know the answer. Now we just need to get it out there. So it was wonderful to wake up and see you on my schedule today, knowing that I'd never seen or spoken to you before, and your audience, and you will judge if I'm sincere or if I'm just on here to sell some product. The truth is I'm on here to tell people that they don't have to be fearful of cancer in their lifetime.
Well, I'm glad that you said that, because I personally have family members that have stage 4 cancer. I have an uncle, he has stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And then I have another uncle that has stage 4 stomach cancer. And it's very sad. And I will be honest with you, and this is a question I want to ask to you. At first, the uncle that has the stomach cancer, he had prostate cancer, and it was just in his prostate. And then the doctors said, well, if you get COVID, God forbid, you could metastasize, you could die. So they made him get about 3 jabs of the vaccine. Now, I can tell you, since he's gotten the jabs, that is what has caused his cancer to metastasize. Now it's to his gallbladder. Now it's in his stomach. I've heard a lot of these stories where a lot of people that never had cancer took about 3, 4, even 7 jabs of the vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine, the mRNA, and now all of a sudden they have cancer, and they have stage 4 cancer. What say you about that?
Well, it's absolutely because these jabs, and I'm surprised that you're on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, if you are, that they allow you to say what you just said.
Oh, yeah.
But the fact is, the jabs destroy our immune system. That is proven. It's not a tinfoil hat conspiracy. It's come out in documents. Like I said, I just spent the weekend with some doctors. It causes everything from blood clots to turbo cancers. And I hate to use the word causes, because what it really is, Alexandra, is it's destroying our immune system. So anything that destroys our immune system causes these metabolic diseases, high blood pressure. I've named a few of them. Cancer, diabetes, all of these things are caused by a lowered immune system. The jab is not just turbo cancer. People are having heart attacks. People are having, all sorts of problems. They're having thrombosis in their veins where they've got these fibrous clots. Now, if we're on any kind of Fox News, I'd already be cut off several times ago. If we were on any kind of mainstream news, it's only on what's currently called alternative. But Alexandra, your show is more well produced than most of the what you call the standard media out there right now. Your producer did a great job ahead of time and getting this all done. So I'm very pleased that I'm on here. But I want your audience to know that the truths that they hear on the show, they can't just accept it and just go about their business. Because when you say to your uncle, hey, uncle, I had a guy on today that said pancreatic cancer is absolutely, we can help your immune system reverse that. Pancreatic cancer is so deadly because the pancreatic enzymes that are produced by your pancreas are precisely proven without a shadow of a doubt, precisely what allows your body to digest the outer slimy coating of a tumor, and allows the nutrients that are talked about by Dr. Harold Manner, who wrote a book, The Death of Cancer. Back in 1978, this hero doctor was at Loyola University for 30 years, and he studied pancreatic enzymes, B17, also known as Laetrile, and vitamin A together. And he showed that he wiped out breast cancer over a 5-year study in both mice, and then it followed up with 15 women. What happened to him in 1978, the same year that my dad published a book proving the same thing in humans, that he had over 6,000 cases as an MD that he was treating with natural answers to cancer. Both these doctors, my dad lost his license, and Dr. Harold Manner was fired. And Alexandra, if that was the only 2 doctors that were doing this and talking about this, then I could probably end the story there. Oh, they were quacks, and my dad was just crazy. But my dad was a God-fearing Christian, conservative doctor who was a darling of the left as well. The hippies liked him as well in the San Francisco Bay Area because he was wiping out disease naturally. Even though he was an MD trained at University of Rochester Medical School, he never had any education in nutrition. It was all in drugs, chemo, and radiation, but he found a new path. And all I'm doing today, Alexandra, is getting the word out there. I'm not a doctor. I don't see patients. And a lot of times people go, oh, well, then what do you know what you're talking about? I'm a historian that has talked to thousands, literally thousands of doctors and thousands of people that are wiping out their cancer by bringing up their immune system, getting rid of the issues that are going on in their body, and they're coming out of it. They're living. I have a guy that works for me that was sent home 50 years ago by oh gosh, I can't remember the name of the hospital. It's when it comes to me, it's going to be horrible that I forgot. But he was sent home 50 years ago, and he's still alive today by using the treatment that my dad said, the metabolic treatment, primarily, like I said, enzymes and vitamin B17. Now, it's not a silver bullet, Alexandra. I don't want to say that either. It's a whole bunch of other things like changing your diet and getting rid of poisons in your food and your diet. But we really do have the answer, and really people can survive. You don't have to. Your uncle doesn't have to. These other people don't have to. And immediately people are going to say, well, John, what do I do? What do I do? I direct people to go talk to integrative doctors who are now discovering that what they were taught at medical school wasn't the whole picture. There's nothing wrong with modern medicine. Modern medicine recently saved me of an issue. One of my sons had open heart surgery when he was younger. There's plenty of good with modern medicine, but in the world of cancer or metabolic disease or deficiency disease, it is woefully inefficient and woefully horrible. It's basically the system is cut, burn, and poison are your only choices. And I'm here to tell you, Alexandra, your uncles, your children, everybody needs to know that we can and will have a world without cancer as long as they don't continue to censor us and take those of us out that are telling this message.
Well, John, let me ask you, because there's been studies that ivermectin actually reduces cancer. And as you know, ivermectin got the Nobel Peace Prize in 2015. But
no question about it. Ivermectin and fenbendazole are anti-parasitics. B17 is an anti-parasitic.
But why did the FDA and the CDC, why did they say that, no, ivermectin, it's a horse dewormer. It doesn't help to prevent against COVID and cancer. And it's actually very tough even today to get prescription ivermectin from a regular medical doctor. What say you about that?
Well, there's 5 states that have now approved it for over the counter. I've always been able to get it. I grew up on a farm. I knew about ivermectin long ago. And I just went down to my local feed store and bought it when I was going through the COVID thing. But I also know a lot of frontline doctors, Dr. Simone Gold.
Yep. She saved my life.
Sherry Tenpenny. These are friends. They brought this out. Now, so I don't want to get too off the subject because you asked about ivermectin. They are absolutely parasite killers. And cancer is absolutely parasite is part of the issue you have to deal with once your immune deficiency is down. But if people would eat the 1,200 foods that contain natural B17, they would keep their parasites to a minimum in the first place, and they would never develop cancer in the first place. This is not just a joke. this is not just me, a tinfoil hat again. CNBC, and you can search, your audience can search it right now. CNBC came out with an article about the Hunzas of northern Pakistan who eat 200 apricot seeds a day. That's the primary thing they do, and they live to be over 100 years old.
Wow.
Well documented. It's been known for years and years, and it's documented that people that have enough amygdalin, laetrile, B17 in their diet don't get the parasites in the first place. But also, once they get it, then using a well-proven thing like ivermectin or fenbendazole or hydroxychloroquine, these are all things that are proven effective and don't have any side effects. They've never seen any real side effects. You're talking about ivermectin has some can cause some liver damage, but we're talking about when you compare that with chemotherapeutic drugs, your audience will tell me how many people in their family have had chemotherapy or radiation. These things are harmful. Yes, they may shrink the tumor or they may do some work, but they are very harmful to us. They have huge side effects. Ivermectin basically has none that I know of.
Well, I can tell you, I took ivermectin prophylactically for 2 years when COVID hit. So I took it from 2020 to 2022. I didn't turn into a horse. I currently still take.
You're not a hippie.
Exactly. And I still take ivermectin to this day. If I can't get ivermectin, because I'm in Maryland and you can't get it over the counter because it's crazy over here, I actually take wormwood, which I heard that wormwood is a form of ivermectin as well. And we actually have a friend who's on our network. His name is Seth Eisenberg, and he hurt his foot. And he had a very bad staph infection. And I told him to take some wormwood to help suppress the infection. And it has helped him significantly. And I recommend it to everybody. I'm a big proponent of hydroxychloroquine. I'm a big proponent of ivermectin and wormwood and so forth. And I'm a big proponent of natural remedies myself. I love the fact that RFK Jr. is taking out the synthetic colors and dyes out of our food. And if you actually read, and I tell my viewers to actually read the back of a Doritos, bag chip, what's in there, the back of the Skittles, all these dyes. I mean, people wonder why, they're sick all the time. They wonder why they're overweight. And a lot of it has to do with that.
Yeah,
so
the chemicals that we have we have over 5,000 deadly chemicals. Polysorbitol 80. I just learned about that this weekend. Start looking for that. It's actually causes us to be obese. And we have 50% of us in the United States. And in these things, in these snacks, they can make those snacks, Alexandra, that are healthy for, at least not horrible for you, but the snacks have things that make you addicted to them. They make you fat. And they're poisonous, and we're eating them. We're taking our kids into the gas station, going, "Hey, pick out a treat," and we might as well be feeding them, poison. And so it comes full circle. And I'm absolutely on that mission. I'm on the Global Wellness Forum with a lot of these big doctors. I'm on the Natural Answers to Cancer Forum, and that's the replacement for the WHO. Ed Group, Dr. Ed Group, and Drs. And Sayer G, and also Trump, Donald Trump's ex-wife. Another name that slipped my head.
Marla Maples.
Marla Maples, thank you. Marla Maples founded it, and I'm on the Council for Natural Healing of Cancer. We've had 2 meetings so far. We're trying to replace the WHO for the United States, and we're going to try to get that to other countries to do it too. So a lot of work is going in now. RFK knows what I'm doing. He knows my story, but he's got bigger fish to fry. He's trying to keep him from raining down geoengineering on our head, on our organic food. There's so many battles to be fought. So if you don't hear about B17, or you don't hear about the stories of all these doctors, including my father, that have had great success, reach out to rncstore.com. We have a lot of free material for people to read. Use the code that for your store. I think it's up there. It says ALL, super simple, rncstore.com. You can watch movies. You can read books. You can see my dad's protocol. And then if you want, you can try the product. We have 100% money back guarantee. So what's the risk? But my dad said that if everybody ate 5 to 10 apricot seeds a day, or 100 to 2 milligrams of amygdalin a day, we would soon no longer have cancer. It's almost impossible to believe that statement, and that must be a crazy person, but the statistics, the studies, the information is all getting out now, and they can't suppress it. It's a tidal wave, Alexandra, and your audience will benefit from that tidal wave for me being on your show today.
No, I'm glad. I mean, I have a lot of audience members, including realhomerecording.com. That's my friend Adam Reuter. He was actually the one that pushed ivermectin before COVID even hit. I got involved with ivermectin because of him. And he's a big proponent of, doing the healthy rituals. And I've been trying to tell people, to stay away from, all this processed food, that we need to invoke more vitamins, more supplements into our diet. I think the B17 is a great idea because I've been told that I have too much B12, which is interesting. And I take a lot of D3, and I was told now I have too much D3 intake. There's actually something I want to ask you about iron. Somebody said if you take too much iron, that can cause a lot of problems. Is that correct?
Well, anything in moderation. If you eat too many apricot seeds, you can get an upset stomach. Now, Google's going to say you can die of cyanide poisoning. We don't have a legitimate case of that happening in the world ever, but they'll continue to tell that lie.
Right.
But the answer to your question is, I would recommend people get a integrative doctor, an MD or a naturopath or a chiropractor, or an integrative doctor, and have both sides. Get your blood tested and see where you are with all of your nutrients, because it's the imbalance of those nutrients. Because we don't eat farm-raised food anymore, Alexandra. We get our stuff at the grocery store.
Yep,
and I can tell you the horror stories. If you cut a vegetable and 2 weeks later you buy it at the grocery store, there's no nutrients left in there. They've done the studies. If you can grow it in your backyard, it will have 27 times the amount of nutrients in it that you will get at the grocery store. It's just the world we live in. Unfortunately, that means we have to supplement, or unfortunately, we have to take our iron if we're low, or if we're getting too much iron in our food, we have to reduce the amount of iron. But it's all a balance that God created this immune system, and he created this immune system to help us stave off disease. We should be able to live to be in our hundreds with the body that we're given. If we don't poison it or do too many drugs and drink too much alcohol and all these other things, everything in moderation, we should be able to live a long, healthy life. So the answer to your question is, it absolutely, being too high in nickel, or being too high in manganese or magnesium, or being too low. I just recently got my blood tested, and I was low with zinc, I think. Yeah, it was zinc. So I just got a tincture of zinc and started taking zinc under my tongue, and I'm taking that. But everything else was in the right levels. And so I would recommend to people that they reach out to their current integrative doctor. Make sure that this doctor's willing, if they're an MD or not, make sure they're willing to understand there's natural, God-given answers to things, as well as their pharmaceutical answers that they have to things. I'm not saying it's all bad, because ivermectin came through the pharmaceutical, fenbendazole. These are all things that were discovered by the pharmaceutical industry. But when we're talking about things that cause our immune systems to be destroyed, that's where I kind of draw the line, that we need more information on these vaccines or the things that are jabbing us. I, for one, have never gotten it, never would. And
never got one jab.
All of my 11 children, yes, I said that right, are unvaccinated, and they're all healthy. They don't get sick. So
that's awesome. My immediate family, they didn't get it. My nieces and my nephew, they didn't get it, and they are hardly sick because of it. Thank God. I can tell you from and we just have 30 seconds left. I can tell you, going back to natural remedies. So I suffer from heartburn and acid reflux. As a singer, it's very common. As a professional opera singer, I still am. And I was taking the Prilosec and the Omeprazole and the Zantac and Nexium and every prescription alive of that. And I was like, okay, why is my heartburn not going away? Why do I feel like I have to take more? Sometimes I had to take 2 or 3 of them. Well, I was actually listening to speaker Ron Johnson on the internet, and he suffered from reflux too. Now he's much older than me, but he said he takes HC1 betaine, pepsin. And he's been taking it for a few years, and he said his heartburn and his reflux have significantly reduced. I started taking HC1 betaine pepsin, and I can tell you that my heartburn has significantly reduced. So people that suffer from that, younger, older, again, it's that prescription drug. There's a lot of stuff that's in Omeprazole and Zantac and Nexium. It's so bad for your body. I didn't even realize it. And now I'm taking the HC1 betaine because it has that yeast in it that actually we need. I didn't realize that. What say you about that?
100%. Since we have short time, 95% of metabolic diseases that people are walking around with right now are absolutely can be wiped out with nutritional support. That's a fact. The MIC, what we call the MIC, does not want people to know that, because it's much more profitable to get people into the surgeries and drugs and all the rest of the stuff. But people can live a long, healthy life if they just have the right nutrition in this God-given immune system that we have that should support us till we're over 100 years old.
Well, thanks so much for coming out. I was just going to say the reason we're not as censored is because I am part of the conservative media at the White House. I'm a White House correspondent for this network. So if God forbid I do get censored, I give Caroline Levitt and the president a call.
Fantastic. That's fantastic. I'm just sitting here waiting because a little known fact, Ronald Reagan cured his cancer by Dr. Hans Nieper on a naval vessel off the coast of West Germany on his first presidential thing. Nobody knows this story. We're putting that out there. And he ran for president the second time and lived another 19 years. We have the book. We have the documentation of that. Ronald Reagan didn't die of colon cancer because of B17 and metabolic therapy.
Wow. I mean, I agree with it. I wholeheartedly agree with it. I agree with you. I agree with what you're doing. You're doing God's work. I love it. Thank you so much. Again, how can my viewers reach out to you? How can they get more information?
Yeah, rncstore.com/all. Sign up for our email list and we'll send out information. We'll send this podcast. If we get a copy of this, we'll send it out to our 100,000 followers. So we stay in touch. That's the thing. We're building a coalition. And then OWWC.org for Operation World Without Cancer. Go look at that and see all the natural God-given answers to cancer. Because there's not just one. There's not just a magic bullet. See all the ivermectins and the ozone therapies and all these things on Operation World Without Cancer, which is our 501c3. We're trying to tell the world that we should have a world without cancer so that only our grandkids and children only know about this in textbooks. That's what I say.
Well, thanks so much, Sean. We really appreciate it. We'd love to have you back on the program again. It's been a pleasure.
It would be my pleasure.
Thank you. And we will be back right after the break.
Welcome to America's Pulse Network. This is APN's very own White House correspondent, Alexandra Levine.
This is so amazing and miraculous. We've never had a president in the history of our nation doing this. And we hope to God that he continues doing this forever and ever. Thank you. God bless you, everybody. And God bless President Trump.
And God bless you.
Hello, everyone. This is Alexandra Levine with the America's Pulse Network. I am the White House correspondent right here in the heart of D.C. as President Trump is celebrating 250 years of America and the military.
Subscribe and follow America's Pulse Network on the above social medias.
And again, everyone, that's me, Alexandra Levine. I am the White House correspondent of this network. It is a privilege to be in the White House briefing room with Caroline Levitt and on the White House lawn with President Trump and others. Well, segment 3 is a very important segment. As you know, we are in campaign mode, and sometimes I have candidates that come on my show. But this particular segment, I'm going to talk about a candidate. You all know him. He is my friend, Tim Fazenbaker, but I've also had the pleasure of working with Tim Fazenbaker for almost 6 years now. And he is the most America First guy that I've ever met. He has stayed true to principle and true to his values from the day that I met him to now. And I actually heard recordings of what he said in 2017 and 2018, and it still is the same as it is now. And he's running in a very conservative / MAGA district in Baltimore County. Baltimore County right now is going through the new councilmatic district right now. It was 7, now it's going from 7 to 9. Tim is running for the very conservative / MAGA district 9. It consists of his hardcore base, which is Dundalk and Edgemere and Sparrows Point, which is where Tim lives. Again, it is a very conservative / MAGA district. It is Tim's to win. Tim's Facebook, his social media has blown up over the years. He has 50,000 followers on Facebook and over 100,000 followers if you add up all of his social media platforms. He's huge on X, he's huge on YouTube, he's huge on TikTok now, and he's getting his name out there more and more and more every day. And you see that picture right there, that is with our good friend Stephen Moore. Stephen Moore actually worked with President Trump. He's a senior finance director. That is the first time that Tim actually met Stephen Moore. I was actually there at that meeting and at that luncheon, and Tim spoke, and it was great, and I actually got to sing. And then Tim had the pleasure of emceeing for the Washington County Republican Lincoln Reagan dinner where Stephen Moore was the featured speaker. Now, why would the Washington County Republican Central Committee ask a guy from Dundalk to come and MC? Why couldn't they just ask someone from Washington County? Well, they remember that Tim gave back to them. They remember that Tim was very good to them. They remember that Tim came and supported them when Tim ran for Congress in 2020, but even before then. And they trusted Tim. And they knew that he was going to do a good job. And Tim jumped at the opportunity to MC at this evening event. And Stephen Moore remembered Tim immediately, remembered me, and said, yeah, I remember you from that luncheon where I met you in Alexandra. And then we brought Stephen Moore again for an event that we had with other candidates, and he remembered Tim and I again. And Tim has kept a wonderful relationship with Stephen Moore and many other people that work in the Trump administration. Let's go to the next slide. That's Thomas Homan. Who is Thomas Homan today? Well, Thomas Homan is the border czar and works with Kristi Noem, DHS. That was a We Back Blue event. That was the first We Back Blue event that we did with the founder, Melissa Roby, in DC. And Thomas Homan was the speaker. Now, Tim and I have met Thomas Homan since that day. We've also communicated with Thomas Homan. Tim Fazenbaker is the reason why illegal criminals are not in the Home Depot in Dundalk, because he contacted Thomas Homan and he contacted DHS. Again, it's the relationship. But look, Tim is involved with people that are in the Trump administration. He's involved with Stephen Moore. He's involved with Thomas Homan. Let's go to the next slide. So this woman is Joy Villa. Joy Villa is a Grammy Award winner. She became famous for wearing the Make America Great Again dress that was designed by my friend Andre Soriano. I've also worn that dress. I did a runway with that dress, and I was interviewed in that dress. Joy Villa is a wonderful woman, great singer, America First. She has come to Baltimore County because of Tim, because of myself, because of others. She spoke at a We Back Blue event that day that Tim and I and Melissa Roby were hosting. Joy Villa is in with the Trump campaign and the Trump administration. Again, Tim is involved with Stephen Moore, Thomas Homan, and Joy Villa. Let's go to the next slide. That's Brandon Straka. Who's that? Brandon Straka is the founder of #Walkaway, where it is people literally walking away from the Democrat Party. Brandon Straka was once a liberal, and he created this huge movement. Brandon Straka was wrongfully accused on January 6th. They called him a domestic terrorist. He was in jail. He was put in jail falsely. Tim and I have reposted everything about Brandon Straka's journey for years. Brandon Straka has messaged me personally, has said, thank you, Alexandra, for reposting. He has said, thank Tim for everything that Tim has done. Tim brought Brandon Straka to that event when Tim was running for Congress. Tim has also brought Brandon Straka to Maryland, to Baltimore City specifically, for the first #Walkaway Rescue America from Left-Wing Antifa. Tim has kept a relationship with Brandon Straka for many years, since 2020 and on. And every time I see Brandon Straka, whether it's at CPAC, he says, please tell Tim that I said hi and that I will help him and support him in any way possible. And Brandon Straka, as you know, is connected to President Trump. Brandon Straka is an America First guy. So is Joy Villa. So is Thomas Homan. So is Stephen Moore. So do you see this pattern here of America First? How Tim is America First, how he lives in an America First district, but he's connecting with all of these people on the national level, people that work with President Trump on the federal level, people that are influencers for President Trump, people that have been supported by President Trump. This is the guy that we want as your next county councilman in District 9. And again, I know all of Tim's constituents. Tim is currently an elected official on the Baltimore County Republican Central Committee. He was voted by the same constituents that will vote for him again for county council. But of course, as I said last week, the Rhino establishment is freaking out because they know that Mr. Fazenbaker is not bought and paid for. Neither am I. They know our connections to President Trump. They know our connections to Brandon Straka and Joy Villa and Thomas Homan and Stephen Moore and many others. So what are these rhinos thinking of doing? They're thinking of bringing in this no-name outsider guy named J.D. Urbach, who's a huge rhino/Democrat. He thinks like a Democrat, he acts like a Democrat, and he hangs with Democrats. So he'll tell you he's a Republican, but he's really not. And what these rhinos are trying to do is they're trying to gerrymander Tim's district so that they put this rhino nobody in there who supports Ukraine. And they're trying to hurt a real MAGA conservative guy that's in a conservative/MAGA district. Now, President Trump is aware of this local race. President Trump is aware of all the state and local races. And I can say that President Trump does not want a rhino in a conservative/MAGA district. And these are just some slides of this nobody. Here's the first one. Oh, no, keep going. Yes, that's the nobody. That's JD. I'm sorry, I forgot there was other slides for Tim, but I wanted to go right into this. So this guy, as you see, he's shaking hands with Wes Moore. Now, he was given an award for being something of Dundalk. I don't remember. The man of Dundalk or something, even though he's really not. The guy doesn't even live in Dundalk. He lives in Edgemere. The fact that he lives in Edgemere is very skeptical because Edgemere is a very hardcore conservative area. Why would this rhino be living in Edgemere? But there he is, shaking hands with Governor Wes Moore. And it's interesting because I've studied body language, so has Tim. The body language of that guy, he seems very comfortable with Wes Moore, happy with him. Go to the next slide. There he is, very intimate. Now, you saw the picture with Tim and Stephen Moore and Thomas Homan. They're very connected. They're very intertwined. There's friendship going on there. There's friendship in that picture, too, between J.D. Urbach and Wes Moore. And we know that Governor Wes Moore is a piece of crap. How he's hurt the people of Maryland, raised your taxes, thrown in a bunch of Section 8. How he continues to allow the state of Maryland to go broke. Well, look how close J.D. is with that guy. How comfortable he is standing next to him. Let's go to the next slide. Look at J.D. right there with Senator Chris Van Hollen. As you know, Senator Chris Van Hollen supports illegal criminals. He went on your taxpayer dollars to El Salvador to talk to Kilmar Obrego Garcia and bring him back to this country, knowing that he's an MS-13 gang member. But this is who J.D. stands with. He stands by this guy, who's an anti-Semite, by the way. He is formed and funded by J Street, which is an anti-Semitic group. He stands with Chris Van Hollen, who supports illegal criminals, MS-13 gang members in Maryland, did nothing to stop the crime in Maryland. Didn't even contact Rachel Morin, who was murdered by an illegal criminal. Didn't even contact Tammy Nobles, whose daughter was murdered by an illegal criminal from El Salvador. Chris Van Hollen has allowed illegal criminals and MS-13 gang members to rise in his state, as well as anti-Semites to rise in his state. And this is who the Republican establishment wants to push into a very conservative/MAGA district. This guy, JD, is a fake. He's a fraud. He's really a Democrat. He stands with anti-Semites. He stands with people that support illegal criminals and illegal criminals and MS-13 gang members. That is who JD shakes hands with. You will never see JD shake hands with a member of Donald Trump's team. You will never see JD shake hands with President Trump. You will never see JD shake hands with Stephen Moore, with Kristi Noem, with Thomas Homan, with Joy Villa, with Brandon Struck, with Scott Presser. You will never, ever see it. That is the truth. That is why it is so important that people in Tim's district and all over Maryland, that they know that this man cannot ever get into power. Because if he does, he will continue to shake hands with the enemy of the people. He will continue to shake hands with people that support illegal criminals and people that support the pro-Hamas BS that's going on all over Maryland and the country and the world. Do not rhino Dundalk. Do not rhino Edgemere. Do not allow it. Now, I know Tim's constituents, they're smart and sharp as whips. I love them all. I know them all. The Democrats support him in his district, and so do the independents. They do not want this rhino mofo in there to ruin Dundalk, Sparrows Point, and Edgemere. And I have a lot of people on my show that are from the Maryland area, that are from Tim's area. I encourage you to show these pictures everywhere to stop this Democrat. He's really a Democrat, calls himself a Republican. He's really a Democrat. Stop this Democrat. Stop the rhino establishment pushing this Democrat into your very conservative / MAGA district. President Trump doesn't want it. His people don't want it. Don't do it. Don't allow it. And this is just the nail on the coffin, guys. Let's show the last slide of this guy. J.D. Urbach. What is he in front of? A Ukrainian flag, putting Ukraine first. He's a, quote, Boy Scout, and he has the country Ukraine placed across of his scarf where he, of his uniform. That's on his Boy Scout uniform. It's all on his Facebook. He never took it down. It's on his Twitter too. This guy puts Ukraine first, not America first. This guy would rather keep us in war and give billions of dollars to Ukraine than help we the people. This guy, again, supports illegal criminals because he's standing with Chris Van Hollen, who supports illegal criminals. You will never see Tim Fazenbaker shake the hands of Chris Van Hollen or shake the hands of Governor Wes Moore because he knows how corrupt they are. But J.D. Urbach is part of the corruption. You could even say he's corrupt himself. Why all of a sudden does he come out of the woodwork, a nobody, and wants to run in a very conservative / MAGA district? Even some of his family members can't stand him. Enough is enough, guys. The campaign starts today. Tim Fazenbaker's name is everywhere. His name is in lights. And I just proved it. He's having a kickoff event August 3rd at the Bayview Bar and Grill from 2 to 5 p.m. Please come. It is a free event. Donations are welcomed. And special guest is going to be John Myrick, who's running for governor, Republican of Maryland. Brenda Chain will be there. She's running for as his lieutenant governor. And our next Baltimore County executive, my good friend Kim Stansberry, will be speaking as well. That's where you got to be. That's where you all have to go. Again, August 3rd, there is an Eventbrite. You can go on eventbrite.com, put in kickoff event Tim Fazenbaker, and you can just put in that you're coming. We would love to have you all. And it's not just people from Dundalk that can come. It's for everybody. I know people from out of state that are coming to this event, from Virginia, from Pennsylvania, from Washington County, from Hartford County, from Cecil County, from Frederick County. People come all over the state of Maryland to see Tim. He is going to be your next county councilman, District 9, not this JD rhino / Democrat who stands with Democrats. This is a new day. This is a new dawn. This is a new era. It is time to say goodbye to the rhinos of this country. President Trump doesn't want them. The majority of the American people don't want them. And people say, oh, well, we live in Maryland. It's a very liberal Democrat state. Let me tell you something. Politics is local. Tim is running for a local seat. Johnny Oshefsky was a teacher. Then he became a state delegate. Then he became the Baltimore County executive. He's a Democrat, by the way. Now he is the congressman in District 2. Look at Brandon Scott in Baltimore City. He's a DEI leader, Democrat, mayor of Baltimore City. Look at what's going on in New York with this Mondani guy trying to be the mayor of New York City. He's a socialist, a communist. That's how these Democrats get in. They start locally and then they just move their way up. We have to stop the BS now. We have to stop them from getting elected now before they get into Congress or, God forbid, become the president of the United States. That's why you have to put the right people in now. Now is the time. Don't wait. Again, Tim lives in a very conservative / MAGA district. A conservative / MAGA guy needs to run that district. Enough is enough. Again, I have faith in his voters. I have faith in his constituents. But we have to just pounce on it right now that we do not want this JD. I hope he doesn't run after knowing that if he does, it's going to be doomsday for him. Because the people of Dundalk and Edgemere are not going to allow it. So please, guys, please go out and support Tim Fazenbaker, endorse him. Alexandra Levine from Florida. I'm a resident of Florida. I support and endorsed Tim Fazenmaker for this position. And it's not just because I've worked with him. It's because I believe in him. And I know that people that meet him, they're friends with him for years. They believe him. They believe in his message and what he stands for. He stands for America first. And that's what we need, especially on the local level in Maryland. And on to our new sponsor. So as we had John Richardson Jr., he was on our show. He's the founder of Richardson Nutritional Center. Guess what? He and I are going to be working together, and we're going to put up my link because I want you guys to go and get these supplements. And again, these are preventions against cancer. And that's the ticker right there, rncstore.com/ALL. If you put RNC, I have to say it before, because I don't want to butcher it, waiting for the ticker to come back, rncstore.com, there we go, /ALL. The discount is already there. You get a 10% off discount. Obviously, the more that you spend, the more discounts you get. Please go on the website, guys. Don't forget to type in ALL. That is your discount code right there. I'm getting a bunch of supplements from him. I've already started. I've been eating apricot seeds. I've been taking B17. It has worked. Again, like I told you, I take H2 betaine pepsin for my heartburn / acid reflux. It's a nutritional supplement. It helps. It's better than omeprazole and Xantax and Nexium and all this other stuff that your doctor tells you to get or prescribes to you. Natural remedies, guys. Natural remedies is the way to cure cancer. It's the way to help with a lot of health issues that you have. So please, guys, go to rncstore.com/ALL. And of course, we have our good friend, Seth Eisenberg from the Conservative Corner. Don't forget about him. Please go to his GoFundMe. He's raised over $6,500. And we need you guys to continue giving him money. We need you guys to continue helping him. As you know, he almost lost his foot. He was in the hospital for over 35 days and he couldn't work. There we go. He couldn't work. And as a result, he has been behind on his bills. And as you know, he has a son that lives with him and he's got to pay the bills. He's got to pay his household bills. Please, guys, please go to Jonah Eisenberg /health/crisis on GoFundMe and donate $200, $250. Average donation has been $100 to $200. The goal is $25K. The ultimate goal is $100K. Please, guys, please donate to him today. And of course, don't forget my friend Allison Reedy, her Give, Send, Go with her son, Dylan. He's trying to get to college in Utah. She lives in Michigan. As you know, out-of-state tuition is really tough and it's very expensive. Please, guys, he's a good guy. He wants to live the American dream. He only wants to go to one college in Utah. And if he doesn't go, if he doesn't get in, he's not going to go. And if he doesn't have the money to go, he's not going to go. So please help this young man out. He's a great kid. His mother is a patriot to this nation. Her family have been fighting for him, have been fighting for him to go. They've gone through hell and high water. Unfortunately, he was accused of being a domestic terrorist. He was proven not guilty in the court of law, thank God. But this has really hurt him. It's hurt his family, and it's time to give back to him. It's time to give back to the family. So please go to Give, Send, Go /Dylan Reedy. It goes straight to Allison Reedy, and this will help her son get to college and live the American dream. Well, guys, this has been a great hour. I know we went a little bit over, but we had so much to cover. Again, guys, don't forget that we have another show tomorrow night, The Pulse. I am hosting. You guys want to know what I'll be wearing tomorrow night. So if you want to know what I'll be wearing tomorrow night and how my hair is going to look, watch the show. It's going to be tomorrow night from 8 to 9 p.m. We have 2 special guests coming on. I'm not going to say because I want you guys to show up and watch it and see who our special guests are going to be. But it's our it's our brand new show. It's getting a lot of buzz. People really like it. It's our 5-people panel. We talk about multiple different topics. We talked about new stuff, old stuff, current stuff, whatever we want. And it's a great show, great personalities, and great discussions. And again, don't forget, we have our friend Damon Galdo, the Jersey Shore, every Monday night from 8 to 9 p.m. and also on Friday nights from 8 to 9 p.m. He also does reruns of his radio show, The Jersey Shore. But don't forget, and please contact Damon Galdo at Damon Galdo on X, at Damon Galdo on Facebook, and so forth. And of course, don't forget my good friend Seth Eisenberg from the Conservative Corner, Popeye the Sailor Man, from 7 to 8:30 p.m. every Sunday night. That is Seth Eisenberg from the Conservative Corner. We love him. He's fabulous. He's great. and he just tells it like it is. And that's why we love him. And I just think he's such a smart and talented guy. And please, guys, please watch him and please follow him at Seth Eisenberg on X, at Seth Eisenberg on Facebook, at The Conservative Corner on Facebook, at Conserve Corner on X. Please follow him. And of course, don't forget to follow America's Pulse Network right here on X, at America's Pulse Network on YouTube, at America's Pulse Network on Truth Social. Now we're on Parler at America's Pulse Network. And I think that's about it. We've been trying to get into Facebook. Facebook has been causing us some issues, but we constantly repost our show on Facebook. We have our Damon Galdo and Tim Fazenmaker. They have us linked into their Facebook, so you can watch our show on their Facebooks. And don't forget to follow Tim Fazenmaker actually on Facebook. Please go to timfazenbaker.com. That's timfazenbaker.com. Make a donation to him today. Please, guys, we want to get him into office. And don't forget to follow him on X at America1 Tim Faze. And of course, don't forget to follow me, Alexandra Levine, on Facebook, at Alexandra Levi20 on X, at Air Levine 85 on Rumble, at Air Levine 85 on True Social, at Air Levine 85 on Instagram, and at Levine Consulting on YouTube. And we're also on Rumble, I forgot, at America's Pulse Network. So please, guys, don't forget to follow us. Also, you go on our website, americaspulsenetwork.com. If you're interested in being a podcaster, please go on our website, fill out the podcast application. If you are interested in sponsoring either my show, Alexandra Levine Live, or the whole entire network, please go to americaspulsenetwork.com, fill out the sponsorship form right then and there. Yes, thank you, Donald Willinger, my good friend. He's awesome. Thank you so much for your support. Thanks, everyone, for commenting. Again, I will be giving out the links to what we talked about today, so you can follow certain guests that we had on my show. And again, guys, the reason you listen and the reason you watch is you are no idiot.
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.